Some farewells are whispered, some are written, but some are etched into the very landscape by the chilling weight of a final shared decision.
Welcome to Chilling Discoveries, where I deep dive into the darkest corner of the internet to uncover the grim tales from around the world. If it's eerie, mysterious, or just plain chilling, you'll find it here. Viewer discretion is advised.
Along the rugged coastline of North Yorkshire, where ancient stones of Whitby Abbey stand sentinel against the relentless sea, a profound and heartbreaking story unfolded. It was not a tale of malice or a sudden explosive act of violence, but one of slow, agonising descent into a shared oblivion, born from a love so deep it refused to be severed by a hand of fate. We speak of David and Susan Jeffcock, an elderly couple whose lives, woven together for over half a century, culminated in a final, meticulous journey to East Cliff. What compels two souls, bound by the decades of unwavering devotion, to seek their ultimate peace together, hand in hand, over the precipice, is a question that lingers, carried on to the sea breeze, a chilling echo in the silent, timeless expanse of the Yorkshire coast. This is not a crime in the conventional sense, but a twisted human decision that forces us to ponder the depths of human connection, despair, and the ultimate sovereign choice of two interwoven lives. In the charming, windswept town of Whitby, nestled in the Yorkshire coast, David, at 80 years old, and Susan Jeffcock, aged 74, had crafted a life together. They were, by all accounts, a couple deeply enamoured, their marriage spanning 52 years, a testament to an enduring bond forged through the decades. David, a retired taxi and bus driver, originally from Sheffield, had spent most of his life in the UK, except for a brief 3-year stay in Australia. He found joy in the simple rhythms of life, his spirit once described as jovial and sociable, often found in Whitby's pubs, revelling in live music, which was one of their shared passions. Susan, his steadfast companion, had met David around 1970, and together they embraced Whitby as their home, settling there in the 60s for what they hoped would be a peaceful twilight. Their flat, overlooking the bustling harbour and the vast open sea, was a haven, a place where they felt truly content. They had no children, and this absence seemed only to deepen their reliance and devotion to one another. A world built for two. Their existence was quite a symphony of routines, shared laughter, and the unspoken understanding that only half a century of companionship can forge. The salty tang of the sea air, the cry of the gulls, distant ringing of the Abbey bells, these were the sounds that underscored the normal before, a life seemingly anchored and complete. But even in the most serene existence can be invaded by an insidious darkness. For David, this darkness manifested as bone cancer, a relentless and unforgiving foe that began to steal his vitality. What started as discomfort slowly escalated into unbearable, a deliberating pain. His once jovial demeanour began to wane, replaced by a quiet withdrawal, and a struggle with the simplest acts of daily life. Susan, the devoted wife, became his sole caregiver. Without children to share the burden, she bore witness, helplessly, to the agonising deterioration of the man she had loved for over 5 decades. Each wince, each pained breath from David was a fresh wound in her own spirit. The laughter in their Whitby flat grew fainter, replaced by the hushed moments of caregiving and the heavy silence of encroaching despair. David's agony eventually reached a point where he could no longer wish to continue. The relentless torment eclipsing any remaining joy in life. And for Susan, the thought of enduring life without him, of facing the world utterly alone after 52 years of shared existence, was a prospect she simply could not and would not contemplate. The shadow of illness had lengthened, stretching to encompass not just David, but the very essence of their intertwined lives. In the face of such overwhelming pain and the profound dread of separation, a decision both agonising and meticulously planned began to take shape. It was a pact, a solemn agreement between two souls that had promised to be together until death do us part, a promise they now intended to extend beyond it. David and Susan decided they would embark on their final journey together. Their actions in the days leading up to July 30th, 2025 spoke of a chilling calm and a deliberate, unwavering resolve. They left their flat, the one with the spectacular view across Whitby Harbour, and David penned a letter to their solicitor. This was not a plea for help, but a final, polite arrangement of their affairs. On that last day, David personally delivered the letter, slipping it through the letterbox of the Whitby legal firm. In that letter, David, with a sombre grace, apologised for any shock their deaths might cause, but then a sentence that speaks volume of their bond, of Susan's unwavering choice. Susan wants to come with me. This was not coercion, but a testament to a shared desire, a profound understanding. Their nephew Kevin would later reflect that they seemed to be planning this for some considerable time, a slow burn of a farewell, carefully orchestrated in their final private moment. The afternoon of July 30th, 2025 dawned like any other, the North Sea wind carrying its familiar bite, the sun perhaps dappling the ancient stones of Whitby, and David and Susan embarked on their final, most poignant journey together. From their harbour view flat, they ascended the 199 steps leading to the majestic East Cliff, where Whitby Abbey commands its timeless view over the town. This path, usually bustling with tourists and dog walkers, became their solitary passage. A witness walking in the opposite direction would later recall seeing the couple, briefly, their faces perhaps composed, a quiet determination in their stride. They slipped through the fence near the cliff edge, moving with a purpose known only to them. For a brief moment they stood together at the summit of the East Cliff, a vast expanse of the sea before them, the ancient town receding behind. Then, in a final, heartbreaking gesture of their enduring devotion, David and Susan Jeffcock clasped hands together and they stepped out over the precipice, plunging 180 feet to the rocks below. The sound of the waves, a constant companion to Whitby, would have been the last they heard as their long, intertwined journey reached its final, definitive end. It was 7:16 p.m. when a member of the public spotted a man and a woman on the rocks far below East Cliff, and immediately alerted the emergency services. What followed was a massive response. Police, paramedics, mountain rescue teams, and even a Coast Guard helicopter descended upon the scene. Despite their valiant efforts, David and Susan Jeffcock were pronounced dead at the scene, their bodies later taken to hospital. The provisional cause of death for both were recorded as multi-trauma injuries. The discovery of their bodies sparked initial investigations, but the puzzle pieces quickly fell into place. The note for their solicitor, delivered with such forethought, provided the crucial, heartbreaking explanation. Their nephew Kevin received the news through a solicitor, a shock that quickly gave way to a sombre understanding. There was no immediate family to inform, yet their story spread through the close-knit Whitby community, leaving behind a collective sense of sorrow and reflection. Tributes were quietly left near the cliff's edge, a silent acknowledgement of the tragedy. Inquests were opened and adjourned, a formal process for a profoundly personal and tragic decision. Their story was not one of murder or unsolved mystery, but a stark, chilling revelation of a bond that transcended even the will to survive alone. The tale of David and Susan Jeffcock is not a true crime in the conventional sense, but it resonates deeply within the realm of chilling discoveries because it forces us to confront the profound and sometimes terrifying depths of human devotion and despair. Their decision, meticulously planned and executed, was a shared act of sovereignty over their own lives, driven by an unbearable burden of pain and an unwavering refusal to be parted. We are left to reflect with the immense strength of a love that could lead to such a final collective choice. What doesn't it mean to be completely devoted to another, so much so that one can't even contemplate the future without them, even in the face of immense suffering? Their story, etched into the rugged cliffs of Whitby, serves as a poignant, haunting reminder of the isolating nature of chronic pain, the fierce loyalty within decades-long marriage, and the ultimate private choices made when hope for a shared, comfortable future has faded. The sea continues to crash against the rocks below East Cliff, a timeless rhythm that carries the unspoken truths of David and Susan Jeffcock, a couple whose love, in its final chilling act, proved stronger than the grasp of life itself. Until next time, Take care of yourself and stay safe.